Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another exciting video where today we are finally going to dive headfirst into shallow water. We're going to dive straight into the regular show Iceberg. Just a heads up for all of you out there that might be a little bit impatient, if you want to skip the intro and just get right into the Iceberg content, then skip to the timestamp on screen. That will take you to the first layer. But for those of you out there who have big dick energy and want to stick around for the full intro, then thank you. I appreciate you. Want to go out? This is the Iceberg chart that we are going to take a look at today. It was crafted by me, but obviously I have to give credit where credit is due. Shout out to everybody who created the following icebergs on screen because they all aided in the creation of my own chart. I especially want to give credit to Regular Main Man on Reddit for creating this chart because I think this one helped the most as I used a lot of the entries from their chart. I also added some new entries that never existed on the other charts. I'm not claiming that this is like the greatest regular show Iceberg chart ever created, in that we have to put it on display for future generations and pray to it every day, because it's not. It's just a chart, and I'm sure others can do better. But this is not a competition. You guys are here to see some weird, obscure shit from regular show, and I'm here to deliver. So without further ado, leave a like if you're excited. Let's go for like 50 likes on this video. Obviously dislike the video if you dislike it, subscribe to the channel if you're new, hop in your golf cart, grab some soda and wings, come home, kick your feet up on the coffee table, kiss your dad goodnight, and get ready because things are going to get weird. Let's get right into it. Two in the AM PM. We're going to use layer 1 as a way to talk about the more commonly known regular show trivia, and as we progress lower down this chart, we'll start to see some of the more unknown, obscure, creepy garbage. But let's start off with the basics. 2 in the AM PM is one of J.G. Quintel's student films, which is about two gas station clerks who trip out on acid and turn into the early designs of Mordecai and Benson. The characters were voiced by Quintel and Sam Marin, who has voiced tons of characters in regular show, like Benson for example. The title of the short 2 in the AM PM has two meanings. The title could mean that it's 2 in the morning while it's still dark out, or that there are two people in a gas station called AM PM. AM PM is the name of a real-life gas station chain, so that kind of gives the second meaning a better foundation. Some moments in this short were actually reused for regular show. For example, Susan in the episode Benson Be Gone flies out of the house in a similar fashion to how the police officer flew through the glass doors of the gas station. Another example is how the tall clerk asks the short clerk if he hears something and then farts. That moment was reused in the Terror Tales of the Park special where Mordecai does the exact same thing to Rigby. Acid trip theory. This theory states that the events of regular show take place during an acid trip. The acid trip of course started back in the 2 in the AM PM short, where the two gas station clerks take acid and turn into a blue jay and a gumball machine. This theory would explain why there are giant talking birds, a high-five ghost, a talking gumball machine, aliens, and just about anything out of the ordinary in the regular show universe. Some people believe that the acid trip theory is canon, and others believe that the 2 in the AM PM short has nothing to do with regular show. Whether you believe in this idea or not is up to you. I can't tell you what to believe in. I'm not your mother or your dom daddy. But if you think regular show is an acid trip, then so be it. Close enough. Close Enough is an adult animated sitcom created by J.G. Quintel, which he worked on right after the end of regular show. The series revolves around Josh and Emily, a pretty young couple who live in the great wasteland of Los Angeles, California, with their daughter Candace and their two divorced friends, Alex and Bridget. If you're a fan of regular show, then you will absolutely fall in love with Close Enough. I mean, the art style is for the most part the exact same as regular shows. There are some voice actors from regular show in this series. Each episode has an 11-minute runtime, and each episode's plot follows a similar formula to regular shows. The plot starts off pretty simple, but becomes more intense over the course of the episode runtime. And of course, there are some little Easter eggs and nods to regular show, but we'll cover those in a future entry. Food equals drugs. Drugs in a kids show? Oh no, that's crazy. Well look, none of this is confirmed by Quintel, and it would never be confirmed by him or even Cartoon Network for that matter. But a very popular fan theory is that beer and wings in regular show are a complete cover-up for alcohol. Don't believe me? Well, every time Benson eats wings, he becomes incredibly shit-faced. Mordecai and Rigby are always drinking soda, even at parties. perhaps wings are hard liquor and soda is just beer? Who knows? I've seen some other theories online about how soda or wings might just be harder drugs. I've also seen people online claim that soda is a cover-up for weed because Mordecai and Rigby, in at least a majority of the show, act like the stereotypical stoner who sits on a couch all day, laughs, plays video games, eats garbage, and takes zero responsibility, unlike everybody else at the park. And hey, who knows? Maybe Mordecai and Rigby lit up a fat joint ski off screen before each episode taping. Probably not, but the idea of them smoking a joint is pretty funny. Regular Show the Movie. Regular Show the Movie was a film released in 2015 based on the series and was the first Cartoon Network original film since Ed, Edd and Eddy's Big Picture Show way back in 2009. The story follows Mordecai, Rigby, and the rest of the park crew as they embark on a mission to save the universe and their friendship from a vengeful volleyball coach. In layman's terms, shit's getting crazy, fam. Alright, let me try that again. Future Rigby travels back in time to the present to warn Mordecai and Rigby before he ends up croaking on the park lawn. Turns out that Rigby screwed Mr. Ross, their old science teacher, out of a volleyball state championship way back in high school, and now Mr. Ross is a giant turd. Well, he was always a turd to begin with, but now he's a super mega ultra turd who's trying to destroy time. And Rigby also screwed Mordecai over as well. I'm not going to dive super deep into the summary because I'm sure if you guys are watching this video, then you're totally fans of the series and there's a good chance that you've already seen this movie, probably more than once. But for those of you who haven't, it's a pretty solid piece of content that you should 100% check out as long as you have 70 free minutes and a ton of snacks. Pop's death. Do you guys remember when Pops sacrificed himself in the final episode of Regular Show in order to save the universe and stop anti-Pops once and for all? I think Pops was the only main character from the series to actually die on screen, and it was really sad. I need a tissue. Cheap figurines. Regular Show was one of the greatest animated television shows in the history of Cartoon Network. However, the network should have just stopped at the show instead of selling out for cheap merchandise. Look at these disgusting Regular Show figurines. Yes, these are real, and they look terrible. They look like figures created for an off-brand Chinese Regular Show knockoff called, I don't know, Consistent Film or Normal Program. Let's really dissect these figurines. First of all, the proportions are so off. I mean, Rigby is supposed to be short, yet he's as big as Mordecai. Second, Skips is yellow when he should be white. I can't tell if these toys were created as a sick joke or if the network and the figurine company that was hired to create these horrendous looking toys were legit happy with the final product. It sure as hell seems like the creators were not super fond of these toy adaptations. These off-putting figurines made their way to the creators of the show, and eventually Quintel and everyone else made an entire episode called The Brilliant Century Duck Crisis Special, or the anime episode if you will, in order to basically take a stab at cheaply made action figures based on TV shows and movies that companies try to dish out in order to make an extra buck. And it's a really good episode. Side note, the Evangelion intro is mwah, chef's kiss. But that, my friends, was the first layer of the iceberg. Regular Show references in Close Enough. There are so many references to Regular Show in Close Enough. Like, it should be illegal for Close Enough to have so many RS Easter eggs and references. In fact, I don't even know if I have them all listed here, but I'm going to do my best to list most of the Regular Show references that I found while watching Close Enough. In the episode The Perfect House, the park from Regular Show is featured as one of the properties available for sale. In 100% No Stress Day, Candace is seen playing with The Power, which is the keyboard Rigby stole from the wizard who was pissing in the bushes at the park. In Cool Moms, one of the girls is seen wearing an I'm Excellent hat, which is a reference to the trucker hat Mordecai tried to win Rigby in the episode Excellent. In The Canine Guy, a blue jay appears on a bird post that Bridget throws Emily's phone at. In the Season 2 episode Sauceface, Candace has a Regular Show lunchbox. In Season 3, the Excellent Hat returns, and during Candace's nightmare in Halloween Enough, he runs into the show's creator J.G. Quintel, who says that she's too young to watch Close Enough, and presents Regular Show to her by drawing a crude image of Mordecai and Rigby with the show's intro playing. Also, Josh is dressed as Mordecai. Regular Show 25 Years Later. Regular Show 25 Years Later is a comic miniseries spinoff of Regular Show. The book takes place directly after the final episode of the series. Mordecai and Rigby have gotten a lot older, have families of their own, and have gathered at the park for a reunion with the rest of the original park crew. As the party slows down, the boys head out to pick up some ice, which was requested by Benson. On their journey to pick up some ice, they romanticize about their golden days at the park. They then find a mysterious alleyway, run into a Goblin King, make a passing comment about how they would love to relive their old days, and the Goblin King dude makes the wish a reality. Mordecai and Rigby return to their days of youth, but without their kids and families. Now Mordecai and Rigby have to find that king so they can get their kids back and return to their present. If you want to learn more about the plot of the story, whether it's truly canon to the original regular show story or not, and more, Veilskippa made an entire video breaking down the book, and it's a fantastic watch, so definitely check out their video when you get the chance. Human Zoo. Regular show's original plot was going to focus on Mordecai and Rigby working as zookeepers and taking care of humans. However, one of the first network notes Quintel received was to make the park normal instead. Some elements from the concept were kept in the pilot episode of regular show. For example, you could see the zoo cages in the background where the humans would have been kept. Another example is that when Mordecai and Rigby are tied 99 times in a row in rock, paper, scissors, they're surrounded by tons of people with different occupations. And that was because one of the original ideas for the show was that the zoo would inhabit different kinds of people like doctors and construction workers. However, JG believes that the note he received to turn regular show's setting into a boring park was one of the best notes he had ever received. Power Tower Color Error. When the episode Power Tower first aired on TV in 2013, fans were surprised to see oversaturated versions of Mordecai, Rigby, Muscleman, and High Five Ghost. All reruns of this episode were normal afterwards, but the premiere of Power Tower was just a miscolored mess, and nobody really seems to have a definitive answer as to why this occurred. Originally, people believed that their TVs were freaking out, but obviously that was not the case. Some believed that it was just a glitch, a change in the art style, a result of incomplete background shading within the final shots, and other errors. Apparently this was the result of Adult Swim switching back to Cartoon Network, and that created this little bug. Some believe that the network aired an unfinished episode, and someone also mentioned that this was a video compression error. Whatever happened, this was still crazy to see on TV. But that, my friends, was the second layer of the iceberg. Mordecai shits and do me a solid. Have you guys ever wondered what Rigby made Mordecai do in the episode Do Me a Solid? Well, there are a few theories. The first one, and the one that I kind of agree with the most, is that Mordecai took a fat, stinky shit on the floor in front of everyone, which would explain why everyone looks so appalled in this scene, and would also explain the dump truck backing up noises that Mordecai makes. Mordecai took the definition of do me a solid way too literally, and made a solid all over the floor. Of course, there are some other gross theories like how Mordecai possibly laid an egg, even played with himself to some degree, but I still believe that he took a dump on the floor. The Naive Man from Lollyland. The Naive Man from Lollyland is a student short created by J.J. Quintel. The short begins with the man from Lollyland at a restaurant reading the newspaper with an image of him on the front and a caption that reads, "Ambassador from Lollyland visits the United States for the first time." A waiter walks up to the table, hands him the check and says he'll be right back. The Lollyland man observes the check and deems that the waiter deserves a 25% tip, which is pretty generous. But obviously Lollyland man isn't paying in American currency. Oh no. Instead, he pulls out lollipops from his pocket and places them inside the checkbook, because lollipops are the currency of Lollyland. Lollyland man hands the waiter back the check, and when the waiter opens up the check, he realizes that there's no real money inside the bill, so he confronts the Lollyland man. The two men get into a heated discussion about the payment, and then the manager or owner comes over to see what the altercation is about. The Lollyland man becomes upset and wants to leave, but then the chef comes over and knocks him to the ground. Lollyland man then grabs the chair he was sitting at and smacks the waiter with it, and then all four of the men begin to beat the snot and balls out of each other. We then cut to the outside of the restaurant, where a chauffeur is waiting for the Lollyland man, who miraculously escapes the restaurant and carnage. See, this is why you always pay in freedom dollars. Restaurants don't take candy. What's fascinating about this short is that, number one, it gives us an early glimpse at Pops. Number two, Sam Marin voiced all of the characters in the short, and he would go on to voice Benson, Pops, and Muscle Man once regular show began production. Number three, the short was one of the winners of the 2005 season of the Nicktoons Film Festival. And number four, which is the coolest part in my opinion, this short is featured in the third part of a regular epic final battle, which is really cool.
International edits.
For some reason, certain moments and lines have been altered or censored in international versions of regular show. I'll spare you the 4 hours of explaining each individual edit made to an episode, but I do want to bring up some pretty well-known edits made. Remember in the episode Rigby's Body when Mordecai and Rigby call each other a bunch of turds? Well, for some reason, the word turd was censored in the UK version of the episode. Instead of turd, the characters call each other planks.
My fist in your face, you turd.
You're a turd.
No, you're a turd.
You're the turd.
Your face, you plank.
You're a plank.
No, you're a plank.
You're the plank. You're
Now, of course, I did some research on this because I'm your bitch, and what I found out is that plank just means idiot. So Mordecai and Rigby are referring to each other as idiots instead of turds. Another great example of censorship is the episode The Real Thomas. That episode was censored so much in other countries that it's incredible that they even decided to premiere the episode in the first place. Like, for example, the Russian translation in the special's opening is not present in the UK version. In fact, any mentions of Russia are replaced with Druzhnia, which is a fictional country meant to parody Russia. Mentions of the KGB are changed to Mom. The line Imperialist Dog was changed to Nikolai, you traitor, and the rest of the edits made to this episode are on screen. Just look at how much they had to change to make this episode appropriate for international audiences. The last example I'm going to give you guys is in the episode The Power, when Rigby asks how in the H are we gonna fix this S. That line was changed to how in the H are we gonna fix this hole, and then it was changed to how in the heck are we going to fix this stuff.
Now, how in the heck are we gonna fix this stuff?
And also the line, but he's gonna be pissed, was also changed to but he's gonna be miffed, which I'm disappointed about because when I was a kid and I saw this episode premiere, when I heard the word pissed, I got all giddy. Like, I was like, oh my god, Cartoon Network is okay with bad words now, tee-hee. I don't know why, but it was just really cool to hear that word play on a Cartoon Network show when I was a kid. I'm sure there's other people out there who felt the same way. Regular Show games. Throughout Regular Show's life, we saw the release of a 3DS game and an ass ton of Flash games released based on the series. The 3DS game was called Regular Show, Mordecai and Rigby in 8-Bit Land, which was developed by WayForward Technologies, published by D3 Publisher, and was released on October 29th, 2013 in North America and in Europe on November 8th of the same year. Based on the 2-part Season 4 premiere, Exit 9B, the game depicts Mordecai and Rigby noticing the arrival of a gaming console which distracts them from their lawn mowing task. When they boot up the system, they are sucked into the TV screen and turn into the game's main characters. The two friends traverse 4 worlds with each consisting of 4 levels in order to stop Garrett Bobby Ferguson from creating an entrance into the underworld from the park. According to Metacritic, the game fucking sucked. Which is not really surprising to me because games based on movies and TV shows usually flop, especially if they're on a DS or any other handheld device. Then we get to the tens of Flash games either based on the show or that feature the Regular Show cast. Better buckle up, it's a long fucking list. All-Nighter, Battle of the Behemoths, Best Park in the Universe, Cartoon Network Superstar Soccer Goal, Cartoon Network Universe Fusion Fall, Cartoon Network Battle Crashers, Cupcakes of Doom, Dance of Doom, Daredevil Danger, Dimensional Drift, Fist Punch, Flux, which is a card game, Fusion Fall Heroes, Galaxy Escape, Rescue Squad Impossible, High Flying Halloween, Just a Regular Game, Killer Z's, Nitwits, Night Marathon, Project Exonaut, Ride 'em Rigby, Rig BMX 2 Crash Course, Snow Off, oh god, what else is there? Splashback, The Great Prank War, Trash and Dash, and Winging It. Ah! Jesus Christ, that's a ton of Flash games. Party Tonight music video. So Party Tonight was the song that Mordecai and Rigby performed in the episode Mordecai and the Rigbys, and in celebration of the Regular Show Facebook page reaching 1 million likes, the page released an exclusive live action music video for the song, which included people dressed up in costumes to represent the characters, and Rigby briefly being played by a real-life raccoon. Cartoon Network eventually released the full music video onto their YouTube channel, and it's just as cursed as you would imagine it to be. Adventure Time X Regular Show. Adventure Time X Regular Show, or Adventure Time times Regular Show, or Adventure Time and Regular Show, or Adventure Time Cross Regular Show, you following me, is a crossover comic series written by Connor McCreary and illustrated by Mattia Di Mio. The basic plot is that the Candy Kingdom is under attack, and it's up to Finn, Jake, Marceline, Lumpy Space Princess, and the Ice King to travel to a different universe to find the power needed to save the land of Ooo. So where do Finn, Jake, and the crew land? Well, they land in the park and team up with Mordecai, Rigby, and the rest of the park crew to help save Ooo and their universe. So for those of you like me who have always wanted some sort of crossover between Adventure Time and Regular Show, there, we finally have it. Although it's not like a full-blown animated special, it's still really cool to see a comic crossover between these awesome shows. Maybe one day, if Warner Bros. Discovery ever gets their shit together, they'll put together an actual animated special based on this comic and, I don't know, maybe premiere it on HBO Max. That would be really cool. Regular Show comics. Speaking of comics, Regular Show did get a ton of comics based on the show. Boom Studios released like 12 issues of Regular Show, the comic series, and 6 issues of Regular Show Skips, which is a miniseries that revolves around Mordecai, Rigby, Benson, and Skips going to a national park, and it's mostly centered around Skips. I personally have never read these comics, but if any of you guys watching this video have read them, let me know how they are in the comments below. Cameo in Adventure Time. In the Adventure Time episode Catch Up, a blue jay shows up and follows BMO, Ted, and Jake and utters the phrase, "Whoa!" And if you listen closely to the voice, you'll notice that it's J.G. Quintel's voice.
Whoa!
Regular Show Jeopardy. On an episode of Jeopardy, one answer to a question was, a 6-foot-tall blue jay named Mordecai and Rigby the raccoon are best buds on this Cartoon Network offering. But that, my friends, was the third layer of the iceberg. Paranormal Roommates. Paranormal Roommates was a 2013 pilot created by Benton Connor, who was a storyboard artist for Regular Show. The pilot stars a man named Harvey Underwood, who is a government office clerk, and his 2 roommates Nessie, which is the Loch Ness Monster, and Bigfoot. Harvey would leave for work and his monster duo roommates would get into some mischief. If you take a look at the pilot episode, you'll notice that Paranormal Roommates uses the Regular Show art style. Some people online who have seen and reviewed this short have noted that this show could have been the next Regular Show, however, it was never greenlit for a full series. What's interesting is that the pilot was based on a college short film that Connor worked on, which features the same characters. High Five Ghost's Shadow. Despite the fact that he's a ghost, High Five is the only main character who casts a shadow. Ooh, creepy. Okay, I'm gonna stop. Takes place in 2005. One of the many questions plaguing the Regular Show community is what year the show actually took place in. Now, some fans believe that the show took place in the late 90s, some believe that the show took place in the early 2000s, and other fans just don't really give a flying fuck. Well, to those fans out there who want to know the truth, I might have a legitimate idea as to when Regular Show takes place. In the season 3 episode, The Best VHS in the World, the VHS store clerk mentions that every VHS store in town has upgraded to DVDs, which implies that DVDs are becoming more popular. If we take a look at what year the DVD outsold the VHS tape in the real world for the first time, it was in 2002. However, it's very possible that this episode takes place a few years after 2002. If we take a look at when the final VHS in the world was released, it was in 2006. Let's take things a step further. In the season 1 episode Prank Callers, when Mordecai and Rigby travel back in time, we see that the most recent year shown on screen is 2004. So perhaps the episode takes place during late 2004 or even 2005. To top it all off, Mordecai was 23 years old when Regular Show started, the same age that J.G. Quintel was when he started the series. JG was born in 1982. If we add 23 to 1982, we get 2005. Mordecai doesn't exhibit any traits of a real blue jay compared to Rigby, who does exhibit traits of a raccoon. Mordecai is voiced by J.G. Quintel. Mordecai is J.G. Quintel. The year is 2005. Christ, I need an aspirin. My final answer is that Regular Show takes place during the American Revolutionary War. Cameo in Gumball. In the episode Boredom from the Amazing World of Gumball, we briefly get to see a shot of Mordecai and Rigby outside of the Watersons window. The clip shows both characters running next to a golf cart that eventually dives into a pond. Another interesting point to note here, but while Mordecai is speaking, we hear High Five Ghost's voice, who is also voiced by J.G. Quintel.
High Five Ghost, ride the whip!
Not entirely sure if that was an error or on purpose, but either way, it's a really cool cameo. Tecmo's costume. In the Season 5 episode Terror Tales of the Park 3, we see Tecmo make a brief appearance in the beginning of the episode. He is seen in the kitchen pouring himself some punch. What's interesting to note is Tecmo's costume. Does it look familiar to some of you? Well, it should, because Tecmo is dressed up as Spike Spiegel from the legendary anime Cowboy Bebop. That already is an awesome little Easter egg and nod to the character and show, but do you want to know what elevates this Easter egg to the next fucking level? Tecmo is voiced by Stephen Blum, who is an incredible voice actor who's voiced popular characters like Dempsey from Call of Duty Zombies, Kadota from Dudadada, he voices Tom during the Toonami block, and, of course, Spike Spiegel from Cowboy Bebop, which is so awesome. Veronica. Veronica was Benson's ex-girlfriend that was planned to appear in the episode Mordecai and the Rigbys. However, for unknown reasons, she was ultimately cut from the episode and never made a future appearance. We do, however, get to see a glimpse of Veronica in the storyboard art of the episode. According to the storyboard, she is a gumball machine with a beautiful coat and long hair, and oh god damn, all of a sudden I am now attracted to this gumball machine. Cameo in The Problem Solvers. Do you guys remember The Problem Solvers? Oh, really? Oh geez, I'm really sorry to hear that. Listen, I know, the show was pretty bad, and the oversaturated colors and trippiness of the animation was way too much for me to handle too. I'm sure most of you cannot even fathom a decent moment in The Problem Solvers worth talking about and praising, but I can think of at least one moment that made me say, hey, maybe there is some gold within this sinking ship, or pile of dog feces if you will. So what's the gold, you might be asking? Well, the fact that a blue jay and a raccoon are featured in the episode Hamburger Caves. Yeah, that's Mordo and Riggs, baby. Skips makes a Star Wars reference. I'm gonna wrap up Layer 4 with a fun one for you guys. So in the Season 5 episode, Skip's Story, when Skips explains to Mordecai and Rigby how he became immortal, he started the story off with the phrase, "a long time ago, in a high school far, far away." Now, if you've seen Star Wars, you already know where I'm getting at. In the Star Wars opening, when all of the text scrolls on screen, there is a sentence that reads, "a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away." Why is this even an entry? Because Skips is voiced by Mark Hamill, who played Luke Skywalker, and that's pretty fucking cool if you ask me. But that, my friends, was the 4th layer of the iceberg. Spontaneous combustion, exploding lawn mower. God damn it. This entry refers to a very rare bumper commercial that was used to promote Season 1 of Regular Show. This commercial features an original animation of Mordecai and Rigby riding a lawnmower that breaks down, and when Rigby tries to fix it, it explodes. What also makes this bump pretty rare is that Mordecai and Rigby are in their pilot designs. This entry was featured on regular main man's Iceberg, and at first I didn't know what to think of it until I checked his explanation on Reddit and looked at the promo for myself, and holy Christ, this commercial takes me back. Like, I actually remember seeing this on TV a handful of times. Cameo in Off the Air. In the psychedelic anthology Adult Swim show Off the Air, Mordecai and Rigby briefly appear in the episode Shapes, specifically the Glore segment. Billy Mitchell attempted to sue Cartoon Network. Billy Mitchell, or if you want to be formal, William James Mitchell Jr., is an American video game player and restaurateur. He's held world records in classic arcade games like Pac-Man and Donkey Kong. Well, Garrett Bobby Ferguson, in the Regular Show episode High Score, was based on Billy, a parody if you will. Billy wasn't too fond of Cartoon Network and Regular Show, apparently misappropriating his likeliness, so he did what any responsible adult would do if he was being joked about on a kid's network. He tried to sue them. So Mitchell filed a suit in 2015 alleging that his likeliness was appropriated without his consent for the purpose of increasing sales and profits. Cartoon Network and Turner at the time acknowledged an obvious parody of Mitchell's appearance in the 2007 documentary The King of Kong, A Fistful of Quarters, but argued that Mitchell's right of publicity claim was prohibited by the First Amendment. The judge found that the character, Garrett Bobby Ferguson, differed significantly enough from Billy and granted the motion to dismiss. Yeah, take that, Billy! Mordecai cameo in Steven Universe. In the Steven Universe episode Cat Fingers, Amethyst takes on the form of a blue jay, and when Pearl admonishes her for overdoing her abilities, Amethyst responds by saying,
chill it, dude!
In a similar fashion to how Mordecai would say it. Cameo in Uncle Grandpa. In the Uncle Grandpa short, The Grampies, we not only get to see a brief cameo of Mordecai and Rigby, but several popular characters from Cartoon Network's catalog, like the Powerpuff Girls, Johnny Bravo, Dexter and Dee Dee, Samurai Jack, Mac, Billy, and more. Okay, I know I've mentioned a lot of cameo appearances throughout this video, so I'm just gonna rattle off any extra cameos that Mordecai and Rigby have made in other shows so that I don't have to keep making cameo entries. On Jimmy Kimmel Live, Jimmy showed a clip of the episode Brainy Razor, where Benson's slot goes up during their unnecessary censorship skit. And in the animated Mad TV show, Regular Show characters have made several appearances throughout seasons 1, 2, and 3. So these are all the Regular Show cameos that I could find. Let me know in the comments below if Regular Show Easter eggs have popped up in other TV shows. There's one more that I could think of where it's this animated show and some guy shoots a blue jay that looks just like Mordecai, and I can't think of the name of it, but again, let me know in the comments. The Fate of Hugehead. Hugehead, for those of you who need a refresher, is one of the main antagonists of Regular Show. We first see Hugehead in the episode Really Real Wrestling, when Pops unintentionally steals Hugehead's spotlight. He eventually makes a return in the episode Men in Uniform, where it's revealed that he has been stalking and plotting revenge against Pops for the last 4 years. Eventually, Hugehead would get his moment to attack Pops. However, he got sucked into the black hole created by the ugly uniforms. Hugehead did get his happy ending thanks to thousands of park visitors praising him and giving him the attention he desperately wanted for such a long time. But sadly, Hugehead did not last too long in the black hole. In the Season 8 episode The Key to the Universe, we see what remains of Hugehead. Looks like Mordecai and Rigby and everyone else at the park forgot to feed him. What a sad, twisted tale. But sometimes death is the price that you have to pay for fame and notoriety. Pop's statue foreshadow. In one of the charts I referenced for this video, there was an entry titled Rigby foreshadows Pop's statue at the end of the Regular Show movie. Now, if you've seen the movie, you know that Rigby is about to sacrifice himself to save the entire universe, but before he begins, he tells the park crew to build a bronze statue of him in the park. Now, while none of the main cast died in that film and everyone survived and saved the universe, I think this moment alluded to the fact that somebody was going to get a bronze statue in the park at some point, and that person ended up being Pops when he sacrificed himself to save the universe by hugging his brother Anti-Pops and flying into the sun, which is pretty brutal and metal if you ask me. But that, my friends, was the 5th layer of the iceberg. Mordecai. Welcome to the shit layer of the iceberg, baby, where everything is just complete shit. Do me a solid, everyone. Do not look up Mordecai. I really mean it. Do not look up Mordecai. You're doing it right now, aren't you? Of course you are. But whenever someone tells you not to do something, you do the complete opposite. You know what? Fine. Do whatever you want. I don't even care anymore. You just wait until mom finds out about this. Okay, anyways, Mordecai is a very unholy, unethical pairing between two characters from different shows, being Mordecai from Regular Show and Twilight Sparkle from My Little Pony. Now, I have never personally seen My Little Pony. In fact, I tend to stay super far away from that show and community just because of these people. But to my knowledge, Twilight Sparkle is the main protagonist of the show My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. That title is a fucking lie, by the way. Believe it or not, apparently Mordecai is over 10 years old now. It originated in a fan fiction created back in 2011 called Earthworm Zim by Abigail Menares, where in chapter 14, Mordecai confronts Twilight Sparkle after her heart was broken. Have you guys ever seen a blue jay and a pony fuck? And then a decade later in 2021, Mordecai videos took over TikTok. There were videos featuring two people dressed up as Mordecai and Twilight Sparkle lip-syncing to the song Airplanes by B.O.B. featuring Hayley Williams from Paramore. And then someone had the audacity to create an animated music video for these two. So you guys are probably going to ask me why I put this nightmare into this iceberg. And the reasons are pretty simple. Number one, it's a piece of Regular Show history. And number two, it's a complete shit entry. Like I said, we're at the bottom of the fucking barrel now, so almost everything in this layer is going to be complete shit. So, fair warning to all of you, buckle up, Buttercup. Regular Hell. Regular Hell refers to a VHS tape found at Goodwill by Twitter user Baka Roboto, which features a deep-fried lost episode of Regular Show. The Twitter thread goes like this. I found a Regular Show VHS at an old lady's yard sale. Take it, she said. I wish I never did. Okay, so people are interested. I think it's a joke, to be honest. I actually got it from a Goodwill in a pile of recordable tapes. Someone probably left it in there as a joke. I fast forwarded to the end, and all it was this image and the audio. I might see what else might be in there. The problem is, something was there, and I really don't like it. I rewound the tape to find this section. It wasn't fucking there. I watched it rewind all the way to the beginning. Nothing. Shit was being thrown around. I'm not sleeping till I see the sun. Fuck. So I don't know if it was obvious or not. I hope to God it was obvious to all of you, but this was a complete shitpost. In fact, the person who created this thread, Baka Roboto on Twitter, literally confirmed that they made this post as a shitpost and it has haunted them for the last 2 years. The video featured in Caleb's shitpost on Twitter could actually be found on YouTube if you search up Regular Hell. Never, Never. Never Never was one of the songs featured on Korn's album, The Paradigm Shift. I mean, Jesus Christ. This entry has nothing to do with corn. Never Never refers to a creepypasta of the same name about two people from Ohio watching a DVR recorded episode of regular show. The guide said the recorded episode was Death Punchies, but the intro stated that the episode title was called Never Never, which is an episode that doesn't exist. One of the Ohio viewers was positive that they had seen every single episode of the show and assumed that maybe Never Never was new, and the guide was glitched. The episode starts with Rigby and Mordecai in the woods while it's raining. Rigby bets that Mordecai can't climb a rock, Mordecai attempts to, slips, falls, hurts himself, and Rigby shines a flashlight at Mordecai's eyes, asks if he's okay, and Mordecai responds with, "You're f***ing with my eyes, dude." Of course, the show is targeted more towards a teenage audience, but dropping the F-bomb on a kids network is a huge no bueno, my friend. Fast forward, a woman with an M9 pistol pops out of the bushes and starts firing into the air. Rigby, being startled, fights the woman in self-defense, but the woman shoots him in the leg. Mordecai gets involved, and they start beating on the lady. The two Ohio guys watching this episode are so confused and petrified. Rigby manages to grab the gun, threatens the woman, shoots, and both the woman and Mordecai are not moving. Rigby freaks out, begs for Mordo to stop faking it, but he's not faking it, and he dies. The scene fades to black, but then returns with Rigby at a dance club with a girl. The girl was the crazy woman who was in the woods. Rigby freaks out, grabs a pipe, starts hurting her, and before he can finish the job, two guards hold him back, and then the police arrive. The title card on screen then reads, 10 years later. Rigby is at home with his future children. One of his children asks who the person in the photo is that Rigby is holding. Rigby explains to his kid that it's his old friend Mordecai. Then there's a knock on the door. A child who looks just like Mordecai is outside, and Rigby's kid goes to play with him. The episode ends with Rigby looking outside the window watching the kids play, and he utters the line, "Well, Mordecai, it looks like you sent down one, huh?" Followed by a chuckle. And then the final line is, "I'll miss you, best friend. I'll miss you." And then the episode fades away to the kids playing in the front yard. The two Ohio viewers are so happy that the episode had a somewhat happy ending, and that they still have the DVR recording to this very day. Once again, this is a creepypasta. It's not real, but wow, could you imagine if that episode existed? Oh, that would suck. Rigby.avi. Rigby.avi is a creepypasta about a person's experience with a file known by the same name as the entry. The writer of this story explains that they were having a pretty normal day up until they came across the mysterious Rigby.avi file online. The video file displayed a distorted black and white clip from the episode This Is My Jam, where Rigby is singing the Aw Snap song in slow motion. The camera zoomed in towards Rigby's face, and finally some Japanese text popped up on screen.
Aw snap, come to our macaroni party, then we'll take a nap.
After a couple of days, the author started to have nightmares of Rigby chanting the lyrics to the Aw Snap song over and over and over. Remind me that I have to put Aw Snap on my bedtime playlist. Terror Tales of the Park 2 deleted ending. So Terror Tales of the Park 2 was one of Regular Show's many Halloween specials, and on this particular episode, the park crew are heading to a Halloween party. If you've seen the episode, then you remember the scene where Rigby shakes Skip's seat, Skips turns around to scold everyone, and before they know it, the van almost collides with a tractor trailer and ends up crashing into a tree. The cast survived, well, until the very end when they literally crash into a tree outside the house party and become ghosts, but at least they made it to the Halloween party, right? Well, originally, they weren't supposed to make it to the party. See, what the mainstream media and the globalists and the lizard people don't want you to know is that the current ending of the episode was not the original intended ending. How do we know this? Well, there is a video featuring storyboard art from the episode, and it gives us some insight as to how Terror Tales of the Park 2 was originally supposed to end. Basically, the original ending, according to the storyboard art, is that the cast did not survive the original crash. They all died when they hit that tree. There is a moment in the storyboard art where they are inside the tow truck driving past a crash site, and when they take a look outside the window, they see Skip's van and multiple bodies on the ground. The paramedics then stare at everybody and then turn into skeletons, and even the tow truck driver becomes an evil skeleton. And everyone is freaking out, trying to escape the truck, but they can't, baby. They can't. They're stuck in there. The driver speeds down the road, and then a vortex opens up in the ground. Mordecai and Rigby explain that all they wanted to do was go to a Halloween party, and the driver tells them not to worry, as there are tons of parties to go where they're headed, which I'm guessing is hell. The truck leaps into the air and dives into the fiery vortex portal, and then the camera zooms out of the flames to reveal a jack-o'-lantern. And that's how the episode was originally going to end. Now, I'm okay with how the current Terror Tales 2 ended, but seeing how the episode was originally supposed to end has me sort of disappointed. Like, I wonder why the original ending was changed. Was it too dark? Did Quintel want to make the ending better? I guess we'll never know, but sheesh, that original ending was pretty good. It provided such a twist that I was not expecting, and I'm sure you guys weren't expecting as well. Temp check deleted transformation scene. So in the season 2 episode Temp Check, according to some sticky notes on Benton Connor's website, Doug, the doppelganger who turned himself into Rigby, was actually going to turn into other main characters as well. Even combinations of characters like Pop's head with Skip's body, Rigby's head and tail with Mordecai's body, and I won't lie, it's pretty freaky, and I'm glad that this didn't make it into the final episode. Nah, I'm just messing with you guys. These designs are really cool, and it would have been awesome if we got another Doug episode where he transformed into some of these other creations. The boob watch. Yeah, Rigby's watching regular show movie, says boobs on it. Yeah. It's funny because I'm mentally 4 years old. Death count. Yeah, I just wanted to take a moment to pay my respects to many of the characters who have unfortunately lost their lives once, if not multiple times, throughout regular shows run on Cartoon Network. Cue the sad music while I scroll through the regular show list of deaths on the wiki. But that, my friends, was the final layer of the iceberg. Well guys, that about wraps up this Iceberg video. Thank you all so much for tuning into the video. If you guys did go on to enjoy this video, then please smash the like button and subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, because we're trying to shoot for 10k subs by the end of this year. It's gonna be a tough goal to hit, but I think if we work together and possibly hold hands, we can make it happen. If you want to check out some of my other Iceberg videos, totally go for it. If you guys want to check out my other content, like my commentary videos, then that would be greatly appreciated as well. Click the bell icon to be notified on whenever I upload a brand new video, follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and join my Discord server. Links in the bio below. Have a great day, everyone. And remember that Mordecai took a fat, stinky dump all over the park house.